Hey, how are we all doing today? Okay, so today I've got my top 10 David Bowie albums after Scary Monsters. Okay, so that's everything from Let's Dance up until Black Star, but only 10 of those are going to make my list. And if you haven't seen the previous video, do check that out, and that was my top 10 Bowie albums from, well, really of all time. My top 10 Bowie albums basically from the 1970s up until Scary Monsters. Okay, so let's get cracking. Just going to put up my specs on as usual. Now, at number 10, I must say these are all on CD, and I do like every one of these albums. I really enjoy all of them. So it's just my personal opinion really of what order I put them in. Okay, so at number 10 is Never Let Me Down, and this came out in 1987. It reached number 6 in the UK and number 34 in the US of A. Now, a lot of people criticise this album, and some have actually said it's their least favourite, but I think he's done worse than this album. The main reason is the production on here, and it's a very 80s production. I'd like to hear, I think there is a remix of this, I believe, but I haven't heard that yet, but that's meant to be good. But you have some good songs on here, some strong songs. The single Day In, Day Out is great. Time Will Crawl, that was a follow-up single. Glass Spider, that harks back to Diamond Dogs. Never Let Me Down, yeah. And Bang Bang. So you've got some good tracks on here. I saw him for the very first time on this tour at Wembley Stadium in London. A bit disappointing. I just think it was a bit too much going on stage, you know. But anyway, I got to see the man himself. So that is number 10, Never Let Me Down. At number 9, Black Tie, White Noise. This came out in 1993 and it reached number 1 in the UK and number 39 in the USA. Not a bad album. I quite enjoy it. I don't play this one much, I'll be honest with you. So the hit singer was Jump, They Say, which was great. I also like Black Tie, White Noise. What else is on here? Looking for Leicester. There's a Morrissey cover, I Know It's Gonna Happen Someday. Overall, a pretty good album. Lots of saxophone on here, which I enjoy. A little bit synthesizer-y. Is that a word? Synthesizer-y? Well, a lot of synthesizers on here, put it that way. But yeah, I enjoy this one. Never Let Me Down at number 9. At number 8, Earthling. This one came out in 1997 and it reached number 6 in the UK and number 39 in the US of A. Now this is his drum and bass inspired album. Most of the tracks are drum and bass. Not my favourite genre of music, I must admit. I think, you know, there are some great tracks on here. I'm Afraid of Americans. I did have a look earlier, but I've forgotten. Little Wonder was a big single. Looking for Satellites. Dead Man Walking is really good. Yeah, I would have liked personally a little bit less of the drum and bass, you know, maybe a few tracks, but this was all out drum and bass. Yeah, I do like that cover though. That coat is pretty cool. So that is number 8 and Earthling. At number 7, it is Hours. Now, this one came out in 1999, reached number 5 in the UK and number 47 in the US of A. Enjoy this one. I was playing it earlier actually, just to refresh my mind. So Thursday's Child was the lead single from here. Some really nice tracks, Seven, Something in the Air, and The Pretty Things Are Going to Hell. It's a slightly sort of downbeat album. It's one you could sort of play Sunday mornings to chill out to. There's not too many rocky songs. It's a lot of acoustics. I do like his voice on here very much, and some of the tracks hark back to an earlier period of David Bowie, almost sort of hunky-dory-ish. Okay, so that is my number 7 pick, and it's called Hours. At number 6, now this one, I didn't know whether to put this in my list or not, because is it classed as a proper David Bowie album? And that's because it is a soundtrack, but I have included it, and it's called Buddha of Suburbia, and it was the soundtrack to the TV series of the same name. David Bowie himself rates this album highly, and he said that he was a bit disappointed that it didn't get the success that he would have liked, but it is a great album, a mixture of songs, quite a few instrumentals, and some of those are very reminiscent of that Berlin period low heroes. So if you don't know this album, it is worth checking out. This is the US cover. I bought this in New York. I was really pleased when I saw it because the UK cover was really not great, and it was like a still from the TV series, and Mr. Bowie wasn't even on the cover, so that's a nice one. Okay, that is my number 6, Buddha of Suburbia. Right, oh, itchy nose. Now, number 5. Now, some people might think this is a bit low in my list. It's his very last album, Black Star. Yes, his last album. This came out probably 1 or 2 days before he passed away. I remember it well. I bought this before he died, and I was listening to it on my way to work, and then I got into work and somebody told me straight away that David Bowie had died, and I was devastated. Well, shocked, put it that way. So yeah, some people have said this is his best album of all time, and I'm thinking, well, really? Better than Ziggy Stardust and Hunky Dory? I don't think so. It's a good album. There's some good tracks on here. Lazarus is probably the best one, and I Can't Give Everything Away, but it's quite dark and it's quite slightly depressing. I don't know if that's because he died so soon after it was released, or the fact that he was obviously ill when he was recording this. I'm not so sure. Again, I don't reach for this one a lot, but it is a good album, worth checking out. Okay, and that's my number 5 pick, Black Star. Number 4, Reality. This came out in 2003, and it reached number 3 in the UK charts and number 29 in the US of A. And by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the chart placings. Number 1 in the UK, number 1 in the USA, and it came out 2016. Back to this one, Reality. Yeah, came out in 2003. I enjoy this one very much. You have some strong tracks. The single New Killer Star, Looking for Water, She'll Drive the Big Car, and the brilliant Bring Me the Disco King, slightly jazzy track at the end of the album I really like. For some reason it reminds me of Aladdin Sane. I think there's the piano on here is Mike Garson, who played piano on Aladdin Sane too. Okay, so this particular edition has a slightly different cover. The general cover is white, and this is a silver one, and it's a double edition. You've got a bonus track of the Kinks song Waterloo Sunset. It's not bad, and it contains a DVD of a live show. Okay, that is my number 4 pick, Reality. Now this is top 3 Very difficult. I've swapped these around a few times, but I am going to go with, I'm still deciding, for number 3, it's going to be The Next Day. What a great album. And this was his first album in 10 years after Reality. And I remember it was when the single was launched, or dropped as they say, which was The Stars Are Out. No, it wasn't. It was Where Are We Now? It was such big news here, certainly in the UK. I mean, it made the mainstream news, or the national news, that Bowie had a new single out, because we actually wondered, has he retired for good? Were we ever going to hear from him? I did hear rumours that he was ill, but this sort of, we all breathed a sigh of relief when this came out. And the single Where Are We Now is great. A ballad, and he talks about his time in Berlin, and it was beautiful. So some great tracks on here. The Next Day is a good one. Stars Are Out Tonight. I really like You Will Set the World on Fire. Very good up-tempo song. What was interesting, of course, was that he didn't have a recent picture of himself on the cover. That's always a bit of a sign. I remember sort of Queen with Freddie Mercury. Mind you, that's a recent one at the time. He looks pretty good there. But yeah, so that's the Heroes cover basically, with The Next Day superimposed on there. Well, you all know that, don't you? Okay, right, top 2. I have swapped these around. I'm going to have number 2 is Outside, or to give it its correct title, One Outside. This came out in 1995. It reached number 8 in the UK, number 21 in the USA. Some really strong tracks on here. Some of his best songs, to be honest with you. Heart's Filthy Lesson, Hello Space Boy, Strangers When We Meet. I'm Deranged, I love that one too. Now, what lets this album down for me is it's overlong. It could have been trimmed down a bit. It could have lost probably 2 tracks, and the little bits in between the songs that link the songs together, where Bowie uses this voice where he pretends to be a girl. I'm not crazy on those. But overall, a fantastic album. It was kind of another return to form. I mean, he's had so many, and it saw him reunited with producer Brian Eno. So that was a great thing. Brilliant album. Check this one out if you don't know it. Right, what's my number 1? Is it Tonight? I don't think it's going to be that. Is it Let's Dance? One of his biggest selling albums. It's not that either. It's Heathen. This one came out in 2002, reached number 5 in the UK and number 14 in the USA. I find this a really consistent album, really enjoyable. I love every track. The single Slow Burn is amazing. I think there's 3 covers on here, but they're all done so well, and I like David Bowie's covers because generally he picks some fairly obscure songs, not always, but he has on this album. Everyone Says Hi, I've Been Waiting For You is a great song, Slip Away and Sunday. I mean, you know, they're all good, as I said. So that is my favourite David Bowie album since Scary Monsters. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, you know the score. Subscribe, I'd enjoy it. That would help me out. So next up, I'm in the process of doing a T-Rex, my favourite band, T-Rex albums ranked. Okay, so look out for that one, probably next week. Okay, thank you for watching everyone, and see you soon. Bye now.